Here's one thing you need to know about me. If you go through the videos I've made on the channel, I don't think you will find a single puzzle game. And there's a very good reason for that. I don't play puzzle games. Now, there's a very good reason for this too. Now bear with me. I'm a complete idiot. I usually don't have the patience for it. I'll look at one of the puzzles, I won't be able to see a solution, and I'll get frustrated. Yet here I am, making a video on humanity, after getting the Platinum Trophy for the game. So what spurred me to do this, as someone who has a rocky relationship with puzzle games? When I saw this game was coming out, I thought it looked really cool. I mean, you're a tiny dog commanding people from point A to point B. That sounds really cool, so I gave it a go, and what I was treated to was the most engaging puzzle game that I have ever played, with an outrageously high amount of content, and a story that actually explores some pretty cool themes. So the game starts off simple enough. You place commands on the ground, the humans follow them, and you have to try and get them to the end of the level. Sounds simple enough, of course, but the game wastes no time in adding new mechanics and gimmicks to proceedings. A lot of games would give you a simple mechanic, then have the entire chapter centered around that one mechanic. But there's so much innovation going on in this game that they just waste no time in showing you what they've got up their sleeve. There are 90 levels, I believe, in this game, across 7 different chapters, and not a single one feels like filler. Each level introduces something new, or attempts something slightly different. It may not be as large as a whole new mechanic, but each level will do at least something different to the last. And this constant innovation allows the game to constantly feel fresh, which is something you'd expect a 15-hour-long puzzle game to struggle with. What starts off as turning and jumping quickly turns into war, which then quickly turns into full-blown stealth missions. The game is persistently evolving and showing you something else, and I was hooked. The amount of content in this game is actually insane. There is so much value to be had, and absolutely none of it is filler. In terms of difficulty, all I can say is I feel I suck at puzzle games, and I did manage to get the platinum, which consists of finishing the game, getting all the collectibles, and doing some other miscellaneous stuff. However, this isn't me saying that the game is easy, because it definitely isn't. Well, I at least found it very challenging anyway. I was very much pushed, but no level took me more than I'd say 10 minutes to complete. The main challenge comes from the final 2 sequences, where I don't want to spoil the gameplay systems in case it's not what you expect and you want to be surprised, so skip to this time on screen if you want to avoid, but I'm not spoiling anything story related, just gameplay. First, it becomes a war strategy game where you're supposed to direct your forces to beat the other humans. It's kind of cool, but it can become a bit frustrating when you can't seem to figure out why your men keep dying. Then it starts to become like Resogun or something. You can man turrets and shoot the other people that are trying to shoot your people, while you're simultaneously directing your people through the level. In some levels, if you want to get all the collectibles, you can't have a single human die, which can be very hard to do at times. The emphasis being so ingrained on the strategic element that it's almost unrecognisable from the start of the game. Then there's also a couple boss battles, which is kind of the main thing I wanted to keep spoiler free for those that aren't listening right now, but they were honestly really cool, and I'd have loved it if there were actually a few more of them, although I do feel like the one on screen in particular does go on for too long. This one becomes a bit repetitive for almost no reason. Like, you could figure out what you're supposed to do, and then it'll just make you do it like 5 times. But now, welcome back to those that skipped. We are now going to speak about the story, but we're keeping it very surface level, no spoilers, you don't need to skip, it's fine. The game is about the sort of reinvention of humanity as you teach them to become sentient on their own. Each chapter is named after a core component of what makes humans, well, human. It's a pretty abstract story in the sense that there's no epical characteristics involved. It's very much a lyrical story, and I think it tells a good one, although I don't think it would have hurt if they were a bit more direct in their overt storytelling. There were only a couple things I didn't like. For example, there was one level with multiple ways to complete it, but the devs clearly had only one method in mind, so when I beat the level using the method I found, the level just wouldn't complete. I did some research under the assumption that it was a bug, and found other people online had the same issue with that particular level. The humans do control in quite a finicky fashion sometimes, which isn't a massive problem most of the time, but it does cause frustration, especially in levels where you need a certain amount of humans to complete them. Watching them veer off to the side when under the follow command for seemingly no reason can make you lose a few minutes progress. But that's pretty much it for the negatives, because Humanity is a game I thoroughly enjoyed, and I love that it's somewhat difficult to define. It's initially a puzzle game, but I think it would be best described as a strategy game. The game refuses to rest on its core formula and evolves ambitiously into an experience I can confidently say was well worth the 15 hours that I spent with it. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, then please consider leaving a like, as that would help me out greatly. And if you want to see more videos like this one, then you could always consider subscribing. But that's all from me. Have a nice day, and goodbye.